This is my first chance to see underneath the ECS Rallywagen, and I am actually stunned at how well it has done. If you've watched the video series, you know just how hard we hit every single pothole and speed bump. And yeah, there's some pretty good scrapes, but the street shield has done amazingly well. Like, I can't believe it. This is the point that we got stuck on that big chunk of concrete.
No. Nope. Can you go backwards?
Nope. Stopped the whole car, and it's not broken. The mounts are still there. This physically stopped the entire car and lifted the wheels off the ground, and it's still in one piece. I am flabbergasted at how well it has survived. OEM heat shield, subframe, yeah, it's got some pretty good scrapes. Every bolt's kind of worn. This is phenomenal. Just where we were grinding over the speed bump.
Please don't do the tail. Really bad.
Yep. And it's really got some deep scratches, and it's kind of taken a shape there, but I just can't believe it. I mean, this looks like a regular lowered car, not something that just drove 22,000 kilometers and bounced off infinite things with thousands of miles of gravel and rocks. Super Sprint exhaust, the first thing we did was drive through salt in Illinois in a snowstorm. Yeah, everything looks pretty darn good. A little tiny bit of fuzziness there in a clamp, but the exhaust looks phenomenal. Rallywagen 1, we did split the fuel tank. This one's got some nice scrapes, but that's normal low car life. And then, yeah, going back. So this is a prototype from ECS. This is a real carbon fiber diffuser. And it's amazing that it's worn and got chunks missing, but it just shows the real carbon fibers. I mean, I can't believe any of it. It just looks so clean and good, and I expected to find holes in the floor and dents in the floor pans and everything, and it's amazing. So although we had to wash the outside for US customs regulations, the inside didn't get too much of a wash, and you can see just how much dirt and beating it took, and it actually, the finishes on everything look fantastic. The charge and the cooling temperatures were something I was conscious of, especially on the day when we climbed up into the Peruvian Alps, the 15,000 feet, passing tractor trailers all the time, and the temperatures never moved. We never lost power. It just exceeded every expectation I had. So the fact that HPA trusted us with the very first finished version of their IS38 Plus felt like a lot of weight on my shoulders, but it did so well, and I don't think we could ever have tested it or designed a harder test for it, and it just did amazingly well. We threw bad gas at it, we threw 100% throttle at it, we passed dozens of trucks in one go, repeatedly up and down mountains, and the turbo just took everything and had plenty more, it felt like. I think I actually sent Marcel, the owner of HPA, a photo of us at like 35 PSI or something. Like, it was pegged. He's like, the text back was, yeah, looks like you're giving a good test. That was it. He was like, yeah, it can take it, and indeed it did. Everyone expects lifted. Everyone. And not to say, I mean, you could probably go and do it in a Ford F-150. What we did is not impossible or spectacular. If you have the chance to do it, by all means, I recommend it. Maybe not quite as fast. But people always say, oh, you're driving your car so low, or you're going to damage it. Oh, I couldn't drive that car in my town or with my potholes or something. Yes, you can. We have proved it. We have proved it to the Arctic. We have proved it to the lowest possible road that you can drive to contiguously. It has taken every single thing we have thrown at it and come back with an unbelievably small amount of scrapes and damage. I beat the living heck out of this car trying to make it to deadlines. We literally took off across a speed bump, whereas a normal person would look at this and say, oh, I couldn't drive across a speed bump at 1 mile an hour. We hit it at 60 miles an hour and it was fine. So I don't suggest you drive as hard or as low or as fast, maybe if you're a daily driver or something, but if you want to, these components will take it and more, and we have the proof. So why slammed, why lowered? I think it's fun. I think it's a good story. I think I drive my cars low normally. That's why. I had more concerns with the environment than the actual car itself. I think the companies that we worked with, the componentry that we built it with, are all wonderful reputations, top grade parts. I was more worried about fuel quality, what happens when you drive from sea level to 15,000 feet in 6 hours at 100% throttle. That was more what I was concerned about. And really, it did phenomenally well. Yeah, I wouldn't change a single thing. The only running change we made, and if anyone accused me of cheating, no. We had 1,000 pounds of weight in this car between 3 adult men and all of our kit and all of the camera equipment and a full-size jack and the fuel. And so where I aligned the springs and the H&R coilovers, we were tucking rim on the back. So I simply increased the rear spring by 3/4 of an inch in length or something. And H&R were phenomenal. They sent that out express shipment, and I installed that. And it was just to get it back to a level height when we were loaded. So when you see it with no gear in it, it's slightly higher in the rear. Yeah, well, when there was 1,000 pounds, it dropped by that much. That was the only thing, and I don't know why I'm even talking about it, because I stand by that 100%. I did not wimp out. I did not raise the car because it was whatever. I just don't like driving like this. Reverse rake should never happen. Don't let it happen. Hang on. Before we ask the next question, I'm going to just screw this up for a second. I would take back driving into that massive concrete drop-off when I shattered the only ECS real carbon fiber front lip. That lip was not meant to be on the car at that point. It was meant to be shipped back for R&D to test. And we made the judgment call. We didn't call them and ask permission, and I killed it. It wasn't its fault. It wasn't the car's fault. I drove into a solid concrete barrier. It's between literally a rock and a hard place and a hole and rubble and everything else. And I thought that was the way out, and boy, was it not the way out. That's the lip. Shout out to Liquimolly. 10,000 mile intervals on this oil change. We did 12,500 miles on it on purpose. So I abused the manufacturer recommendations. Liquimolly would say follow those, but we knew that the product would be able to stand up and not just, oh, it's only good highway miles. Heck no, we went 100% throttle all the time to pass people. The mountains were indescribable, going through the Peruvian mountains, Ecuador, just to die for. But we're going up insane grades, putting insane load. With a roof tent and 1,000 pounds inside it, we beat the heck out of every part of the system. Cooling system with CSF, the intercooler, everything, and it just performed perfectly. The other thing really was packaging. The idea of the middle seat in the rear wasn't just unusual or fun. We just had so much equipment, and then for the idea of being able to be in the back and still be a spotter or still be recording with a video camera, that's where I came up with that idea. We really thought it was going to be like the kiddie seat, like it was kind of the baby chair in the back, but it turned out to be kind of warm because the carpets were all removed. We had bags packed up entirely on one side, so you could kind of be a little secluded and kind of sleep there. So it turned out to be like the great seat, and it was also a little bit more reclined. What really impressed me more so is just how much of it just shrugged off the beating. We literally developed a method of going diagonally across the biggest speed bumps with enough speed that we just slid the metal across them. That's insane. And it didn't care. It just kind of laughed. It was like just along for the ride, and it felt good. The car felt good doing it. It's so wrong, but it's just amazing. So yeah, the sheer tenacity of Rallywagen 2 is just so impressive. So I fully expected people to stop us. once we learned, and my Spanish is miserable and I apologize, once we learned how to streamline the questions, where are you from? Why are you here? Where are you going? These are totally valid questions. So once I realized if I just have my driver's license ready, and once I learned how to say United States or Philadelphia in Spanish, that helped a lot. A lot of the police took selfies. A couple of them asked us to do burnouts for them and their colleagues.
Oh my God. Oh my God, the police just told us to do a burnout.
I mean, just wildly nice people. Some of them were stern, didn't think it was funny, whatever. Hey, cool, no problem. The one in Paraguay, which made national news, I was interviewed on a national radio station, we made front page of newspapers, it caused quite the incident. Shit. This might be the first big one.
Buenos dias.
I knowingly, willingly chose to overtake a slow-moving truck on a solid no-pass central line. I had clear visibility. It was a left-hand corner. If you're a motorcyclist, you know how to read beyond the corners, etc. I chose to do it. I consciously made that decision. As soon as I got around the corner and there was a building and I couldn't see beyond the building, just for that little moment, and there was a police officer or a group waiting there, and I knew it. That's it. So I pulled over. I did not argue. I complied completely. And in my mind, I deserve a fine. I should pay. You should give me a ticket. I see what you're doing. I've police officer friends. I've driven enough to recognize a speed trap or whatever it is. I literally was like, well done. Like, you know, this was a good one. You know, the truck in a 50-mile-an-hour zone going 20. Like, anyway. That's where it did get weird, though. He pulled Pedro, our camera guy, who speaks Portuguese, not Spanish, and he wouldn't really address me anymore. And Pedro came back and was like, hey, he's not giving you a ticket. We have to pay. Well, I passed someone on a solid double yellow line. So now I get a ticket, which is fair. How much do you think it's going to be? Any guesses? I have no idea. The ticket's $900 US, but if we give them $50 cash, we can go. Like, okay, like, I wasn't arguing a ticket. Like, yes, I understand. Tell me, that was it. And then it got weird. And he took the money and didn't give us a ticket and told Pedro to go. Just leave. Give us the cash and leave. And there are countries, Austria, for example, where you pay cash on the spot. If you don't have cash, they take you to an ATM. Feels weird as an American, but that's the law. They give you a receipt. That's it. Fine. That was not it. He took the money and he put it in his pocket.
We don't know if that was our first bribe or our first ticket, but they did not give us a receipt for the $50 fine. So,
And I talked about it on Instagram, and then somebody local picked up on it, and then somebody sent me this message of, you need to shut your mouth and delete the message. I'm like, I don't want to cause trouble, but like, no offense, I knew I was in the wrong. I don't think I'm in the wrong again. I did not try and pay a bribe. Then we got a message, and it was the local newspaper, and then the police officer, or the chief of police, issued a statement saying, this foreigner's a liar. Okay, we got a lot of cameras on this car. We record kind of everything. So I kind of have a lot of stuff on here. And then they came back, and this is where I got a phone call with the newspaper, and I said, hey, no, I dispute this. You know, this money, there was no receipt, there was no ticket. And suddenly they produced a ticket. And that's when it really pissed me off, because that ticket had the wrong time by hours. And we had our GPS live tracker showing where we were. And it just so happened we stopped for lunch, because the border was going to be closed for lunch. So we stopped and had a really, really nice buffet lunch in a gas station, which was probably crappy food, but we were so excited to find it. And we had a receipt from there at that time. So our GPS tracker showed every single location to this point, and then we had third-party proof, and I think we paid with a credit card. So we had so many things to dispute it, so we mailed or WhatsApped that over to the newspaper, and suddenly, oh yeah, maybe we'll open an investigation as to why the ticket wasn't issued, but we still don't believe this gringo. Like, okay, so yeah, and I'm still at this point getting messages of you have to stop this. They're not going to let you leave the country. They're going to call their colleagues at the border. They're going to get you. They will get you in Brazil. They will get you in Argentina. You don't know how far their friends go. I do feel a little nervous, but also at this point we're getting messages from local Paraguayans saying this happens to us all the time and it sucks. You know, the fact that you are saying you are guilty and you want to pay the fine and they didn't give you the opportunity and they stole the money that should have gone to the department or to improve roads or road safety or something. He stole the people's money. And again, we're talking $50. I'm not trying to sound like some big political whatever. It's just a weird situation that as soon as I pulled over, I'm like, I recognize what I did. I recognize how you got me. I can sleep at night. I think it was a safe situation reading the road, the visibility, but I was wrong. But you took away that opportunity for yourself, and then your boss apparently tried to cover it up and messed it up. So you come at us, I will gladly share the information that we have and also apologize for passing on a solid line. I will always stop to help a person in need. I will always stop to help a Volkswagen that stopped on the side of the road no matter what. And we saw a body that looked contorted, twisted on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. I mean, we saw that a lot, 50, 100 miles between villages, but this just felt wrong. And I drove past him, and I've watched the video footage since, and I said, should we go back?
Probably.
And I did want to. What I meant specifically was, I don't want to see a dead body right now. I know I have to go back, but he was, I mean, it looked like he'd been hit and run. And I'm getting emotional again, which is only the second time, Bolivian salt flats, damn it. And we parked a way back, and I walked up slowly, and he was just, I mean, no body should be like that. And for lack of Spanish communication, it seemed, well, he was very much alive. He seemed at least a traveler, if not homeless. His dog was not okay around other people. I communicated as best as I could. I made sure he was okay. He did seem maybe inebriated, but not medically bad. So we gave him water and offered it to his dog and tried to leave him as comfortably as he could. But he was indicating he was okay. And I still, I know you're not going to watch this, but if you see us on Instagram or something, send me a message and let me know like your life story or something, because there was definitely a story there. I also, approaching him, I don't know how to communicate this to the police. We found a dead body. We're out of cell phone service. We're not going to leave him. We're going to see this through, and that was all running through my mind. And thank anybody that's listening, he was alive and communicated and was okay, and we gave him water, and he indicated he didn't need anything else, and we left. So Rallywagen 2, the idea afterwards was it would go to shows, we'd let people see it, really see dents, bruises, the story, to really touch and see and behold Rallywagen 2. Of course, we're in 2020, in the dumpster fire of this year. So shows are canceled, so there's a lot of internet stuff. However, the car was genuinely, it exceeded my wildest expectations. I would like to do more with it. I have no off switch for ideas. Hey, you name a continent, I want to go drive it. There's a famous road in Australia, the road around the exterior. And Australians know it as like a Route 66. It's like a rite of passage. And people go and take months and they get their RVs and they go and do it. Well, some motor journalists set a record doing it. And I was reading the article and they were like, and then we stopped for a steak because we thought we deserved it on day 5. I'm like, you stopped for what? For dinner? That you had to order? I didn't let these guys pee. Why are we going to stop to order? Like, and then someone else did it afterwards and they were like, oh, we had video games installed in the headrest for the people in the back. I'm like, no, people in the back are sleeping or spawning. Video. So I think we could do that. Do I think that this is the right car for that? Possibly not. This is 400 horsepower. It's not set up for hyper mileage or anything else. This car, I've not talked to ECS or anyone else about this. I'd like to drive to the North Cape in Europe. I'd like to go to the Arctic Circle again, but go up to the very top of Norway. I'd like to do it in winter. I think you've seen what it can do off-road. You've seen what it can do in the dry, in the high desert, the Atacama Desert. I think, okay, maybe some snow tires or something. I think this would be a great car to go and do that. And then there's the opposite way, which is the South Cape. So we've been all the way north in North America. We've been all the way south in South America. So let's go all the way north, Norway, and then can we go all the way south to South Africa? So that's on the list. So Australia set a record. Cape to Cape, which is hardcore. The record is like 9-10 days, something like that, in a Porsche Cayenne. I'm not saying we have to go for a record, but I also want to do around the world. I think one of these cars is capable of doing fully, starting here or New York City and just heading west. Go to California, go to Japan, China, Russia, Kazakhstan, all the way through Europe. Through my lovely contacts and my professional background, I'm allowed to go on the boats. So I can drive the car onto the boat in Europe and follow it and stay with it and drive it off in America and drive back to the starting point. This was not marketing. This was never a plan. This was car friends kind of acting the fool. Like, oh, hey, well then, why don't we go drive it off-road? Cool, you know where's off-road? Alaska. You ever watch that Ice Road Trucker show? Yeah. Well, that seems pretty off-road. I think we could do that. Oh, well, which car? Here, I know of an old show car. Why don't we do that? Oh, okay, great. Rallywagen 2, where do you want to go? Well, yeah, we did north, let's just do south. Cool, what car? Oh, well, cool, we found a white GTI down the road at the dealership. It's a used one. It's like the cheapest okay Mark 7 we can find. Just do it. So, yeah, there's a whole world out there. I hope we can go and see more of it.